Who dares to denigrate Kim Taehyung in the world's spotlight? Why did Jungkook explode and finally dismantle everything in public? Is it just a matter of fashion shows? Or is there a much darker power play behind the Parisian stage? Do you feel it too? The unusual tremor was felt from the first moment Kim Taehyung stepped on the wet carpet at the Celine Paris 2026 event in Paris. The rain that fell as if it were not just water from the sky, but a symbol of something much deeper: coldness, abandonment, and a whisper that is not heard in the ears of the public, but shakes the heart of a true friend. Someone has degraded Taehyung, and Jungkook did not remain silent. All eyes were indeed on him, Kim Taehyung, or BTS's V. At the event that became Mike Ryder's big debut as Celine's new creative director, Taehyung performed stunningly. A gray suit with geometric red-black embroidery, matching trousers, and a multi-layered gold necklace emphasize her status as a global fashion icon. But why in the midst of all that glitz did his smile not seem as warm as usual? Why is there an alien aura surrounding her, as if the fashion world did not welcome her as usual? It wasn't just one camera that caught his blank gaze a few moments before he sat down. It wasn't just one voice asking, "Is Taehyung uncomfortable?" But the public does not yet know that seconds before he entered the main area of the runway, something happened that made Jungkook lose control of his emotions. Yes, BTS's Jungkook, a figure known for always keeping an expression, keeping the good name of the group, and even keeping his own feelings in front of the world. But this time it's different. He can't shut up. He doesn't want to pretend.
He chose to speak.
And what he revealed made the entire fandom, ARMY, even the fashion world international, silent, surprised, and angry. "I can't take it anymore," was the first line that came out of Jungkook's mouth in a shocking live broadcast hours after the show ended. The broadcast was not announced, not given a schedule, but as soon as the notification appeared, millions of fans immediately entered and watched something that they were not even ready to hear. Jungkook's face looked tense, almost red. His voice held back the turbulent emotions. And without mentioning the name directly, he began to disassemble the pieces of events that had been only a whisper behind the magnificent stage of Paris. "Taehyung doesn't deserve to be treated like that," she said softly but sharply. "It's not because he's an idol, but because he's human. Because he's an artist. Because he has a very soft heart. And here is the beginning of everything." Who exactly does Jungkook mean? What's really going on behind the scenes of Celine Paris? Who would dare embarrass Taehyung in front of world-class guests? And why did Celine's side choose silence? This question burns social media. Hashtag Protect Taehyung and hashtag We Stand With Taehyung became global trends in just 2 hours. But more than that, the public is hungry for answers. And in the midst of all the commotion, a short 15-second video was recorded by an invited guest who accidentally witnessed a cold interaction between Taehyung and someone from Celine's internal team. The video shows Taehyung trying to talk to a blonde woman, wearing an elegant black jacket with a small Celine logo on the shoulder. The woman is seen grabbing Taehyung's hand as he tries to show her something on his phone, perhaps a note or a special request. There's no sound in the video, but his body gestures are pretty clear. Abandonment. And not only that, the other guests looked glancing, some even smiling sarcastically. Is this part of the hard fashion culture? Or is this a form of social harassment that has been silenced for too long by glamour and cameras? Clearly, Jungkook didn't take it lightly. In a follow-up to his live broadcast, Jungkook said, "Hyung never told me anything.
But I saw everything.
I saw how she tried to keep smiling as everyone turned away. I saw how he stood alone in the cold rain only to be given no room to rest. You think we don't know? We saw everything." Speech is like lightning in broad daylight, a confirmation that is more than enough to trigger a storm. The ARMY moved quickly. They unpacked all the footage available on the internet, analyzed every corner of the video, paid attention to Taehyung's facial expressions, his seating position, even his place on the VIP guest list. What they found was very suspicious. Where normally AV always sit in the middle, close to the top designers or stars, this time it is placed on the edge, away from the main spotlight. Then a new fact emerged. Several other brand ambassadors were given a special team that accompanied them from the beginning to the end of the event, but Taehyung was not. Is this a coincidence? Or intentional? If Taehyung wasn't Taehyung from BTS, would he have been treated even worse? Asked one of the Korean journalists in a bitter tone. Or is it precisely because he's BTS, they feel threatened and want to demean him? The questions became a wound shared by the public. Fans sent an open letter to Celine's side, urging clarification. But until this article was written, there has not been a single official statement from their side. Meanwhile, Jungkook reappears, this time in a calmer, yet more assertive condition. I'm not talking about controversy. I speak because it's about respect, he said in a short interview with one of the Korean media. We, me, Jimin, RM, Jin, Suga, Jae hope we know how the world treats us. But when it happens to such a careful person like Taehyung, I can't just sit idly by. The statement made the public see another side of Jungkook that had never been seen before, not just as a singer and dancer, but as a protector, a friend, a man who is not afraid to stand up for those he loves. And the public is wondering, does this mean the end of BTS's relationship with Celine? Is this a signal that Korean artists have begun to demand their right to be respected on the global stage? Or will it open a Pandora's box of subtle discrimination in the international fashion industry? Jungkook, known for his calm charisma, is now the voice of emotional justice. You might see Taehyung as a star, but we know how hard he fought to be able to sit in that chair. And seeing him underestimated like that, nothing could make me angrier. In one moment, public emotion, social justice, the K-pop world, and the fashion industry collide into one in a whirlpool of controversy that shows no sign of abating. And all eyes are now on one thing. Will Celine apologize? Or do they choose the path of silence, letting the storm pass? But the most painful question of all remained hanging in the air. What was Taehyung really feeling at the time? And why did he choose to remain silent, even after Jungkook spoke up? Could it be that his silence was a form of wound too deep to be spoken? But did you know that none of this is new? If we pull the red thread back, small and odd moments have begun to be seen since their last concert together before the individual hiatus. Many soldiers at that time felt there was something strange. Taehyung looked less expressive, while Jungkook seemed to hold back emotions throughout the last performance in Japan. Even as all the members gave backstage farewell hugs, the camera seemed to go too fast when it was Taehyung and Jungkook's turn. Why isn't it fully featured like the other members? Then, there was one photo that was almost missed by the public. The photo appeared for only 6 minutes on the Weverse platform before it was finally deleted. In the photo, a piece of paper falls between Jungkook's legs in the rehearsal room with a large, barely legible inscription. You knew it wasn't fair, but you left. The fans who managed to save the picture immediately speculated, is this part of the rehearsal record? Or is it some kind of accidentally missed private message? Whatever it is, the effect is great. Because a few days after the incident, Jungkook decided not to attend the last joint exercise before his departure abroad. The reason for that time is called health and time with family. But note this, the time of departure is very sudden. Even the band's manager admitted that he was only notified a few hours before Jungkook actually boarded the plane. Who told him to leave so soon? And why? It didn't stop there, though, with a confession from one of BTS's longtime stylists saying that during their last fitting for a music video project, there was an emotional conversation between Taehyung and Jungkook. The stylist only heard a piece. So this is how you just leave? The voice is said to come from Taehyung. And from that moment on, the atmosphere became quiet. The stylist admitted that he had never seen Jungkook leave the room with such an empty face. Was there a promise broken? Or is it the silent sacrifice of one party for the sake of the other? Back to HYB's role in all this. Why does every moment of emotional interaction between Jungkook and Taehyung seem to be censored? And why is it that when fans start talking about this massively on social media, large accounts are actually restricted, posts disappear, and the hashtag #ProtectTaeHyung is hidden from the trend? One of the horrendous videos was a video from a fan site that managed to capture a rare moment at the airport, a few hours before Jungkook's departure. In the video, Taehyung is